Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike, and I'm not sure you may be watching this on multiple places, but as some of you may or may not know, I have a YouTube channel called aDigitalNomad.net, and I talk about digital lifestyle, uh, EVs, which is like a computer on wheels anyway. And this video is about how to kill your EV battery. Is also about how to take care of your EV battery, and it's really designed for somebody that doesn't have an EV because whether you recognize it or not, I believe that EVs are going to take over in the near future. And when I say they're taking over, they're taking the place of ICE vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles. That's either gasoline or diesel powered vehicles, the kind that pollute and the kind that will literally kill you if you lock yourself or shut the door in your garage and leave the motor running. If you can't even have them indoors because of carbon monoxide, you're probably aware of that. But anyway, that's one of the reasons why EVs are going to take over. That's not the subject of this video. But the subject of this video is to kind of familiarize yourself with the EV battery packs, what will really destroy them, and what will help them to work better. And the best way for you and the easiest way for you to understand how it's different than a gasoline car is to know what will destroy it. So let's just start going over a few of these things. Well, you may not recognize, but I'll tell you that just you've got a lithium ion battery. You've got one of these digital devices, I'm sure, because everybody's got digital devices these days, and they're powered by lithium ion batteries. And they're very similar to the batteries that are in electric vehicles. And actually, the battery in the laptop that I'm using right now to record this is even more similar to what's in electric vehicles. And by the way, if you're watching this live, great. You can type questions to me, but you've got to type them. Actually, I think just about anywhere we're watching today, you can type a question. But if you go to aDigitalNomad.net, watch the live stream on my YouTube channel, I will definitely get your question. I got a little window here where I can see it. Um, so anyway, these are the same types of batteries, same basic chemistry anyway, in your phone, in your laptop, in an EV. Now, the biggest difference that you will probably never recognize, that I'm going to tell you, and a lot of people who own EVs don't even recognize this, is that typically the batteries in an EV, and when I say batteries, I mean they've got little cells in them like this, and like your laptop has. They've got thousands of cells that's strung into what they call a battery pack. And those battery packs, typically, what makes them different is not the chemistry, but it's the way that they have a heating and cooling system on a well-designed electric vehicle. Very inexpensively, poorly designed electric vehicles do not have an active heating and cooling system, or maybe they only have one, a heater or a cooler. Now, why is that important? Well, if we're talking about killing a battery pack, the biggest enemy of this thing, and I know because I've had it, these are very fickle uh, things. These batteries in your mobile phones. The laptops not so much because they don't have the same type of an application. This application causes the battery to be in extreme cold and extreme hot, and that's what batteries don't like. They like to be just like humans, like around 72 degrees, 75 degrees, I think somewhere in that range, between 70 and 75. That's where they like to be, relatively moderate humidity. They don't like really high humidity, and they don't like it bone dry either. So it's kind of like people. People, same kind of temperature you like is what your phone, that's what your battery likes. So if you've ever felt your phone like heat up, and I've definitely felt my phone heat up, especially when you're charging it. That is damaging the battery cell. That is affecting the life of the battery. So if you own an EV, this is one of the things you got to be concerned about, that doesn't have an active cooling and heating system for your battery pack. You've got to take really, really good care of that car and really watch it. And usually those cars are not even designed to fast charge, because if you and I both know, when you fast charge your phone, especially when you plug it in that's near zero, that thing really heats up. You'll also notice that as it gets to the top of the battery, 100%, it starts to slow down, and it does, and the temperatures drop too. Okay, someone's asked me a question. Tesla babies T, why my Tesla says mobile adapter overheating? Mobile adapter overheating. Okay, Tesla babies, are you plugging this into like a normal, what is it, a 120 circuit, or is this like a higher output 240? What are you plugging it into for that, for your mobile adapter? I mean, I'm guessing that you're plugging it into a standard 120 or 110, whatever it happens to be. I don't know, but let me know. Okay, so your battery is it's going to get hot, and that's he's talking about an adapter overheating. So the thing is, all Teslas that have ever been built, 240. Okay, that could be it. Hey Garrison, Tesla baby's 240. That could be it. I mean, it could be that 240 is putting out too much amperage, too much, and that's usually expressed in kilowatts. Actually, the amount of electricity going through is usually expressed in kilowatts. It's actually entering your car. So you should check on your Tesla screen. I'm kind of curious as to how many kilowatts you're getting when that says it's overheating. Because usually these things, if it's an adapter, it's a non-Tesla system. Tesla is designed to work with, I'd say, I've only ever used it. I've used 240 a couple times, but I mainly use 120, or I use the Tesla superchargers, and it's designed to work very effectively with the Tesla superchargers. Actually, it even heats and cools the battery pack as you're approaching a supercharger if it knows you're going to start charging in advance, which is pretty cool. It didn't even used to do that. That's a newer feature in my car that was added. Okay, so if you have an EV that has heating and cooling, you're way ahead of most EVs. Like I know earlier Nissan Leafs, I think most Nissan Leafs really don't have heating and cooling. They really need both to operate most efficiently and for the longest life of the battery pack. Some of the Nissan Leafs, I believe, do have that now, and it also allows you to charge the battery faster because, as we pointed out, when you rapid charge your phone, the same thing happens on your laptop. When you're rapid charging, you're building up a tremendous amount of heat. Heat is the killer of batteries. Heat is the killer of internal combustion engines. Heat is the killer of your motors that power your car too, your electric motors. So we want to keep things in that range, like we were saying, like 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit and moderate humidity. All right, so if you have a Tesla, like I said, and like for me, I do almost all supercharging. They say you're not supposed to do that. I think that's actually more beneficial because Tesla is constantly monitoring and managing that battery charging, and that's what it's all about. There is very little monitoring and managing of your charging of your phone if you think about it. All right, because the phone has no idea if and when you're going to plug it in. It has no idea. Tesla knows if I'm on the way to the supercharger, as I pointed out. And then when it's charging, it has no heating and cooling system, so you could be charging this out in 5 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius or whatever, some ridiculously cold frigid temperatures, or you could be charging it in over 100-degree heat. And a lot of times you see if you even put your phone in the sun, when the sun's shining on it, it'll build up so much heat, your phone will shut down. It's to protect the battery, usually, and the processor, but also the battery. The battery and the processor both heat up there. They're right there. They're sandwiched in between. So you got a problem with heating and cooling. You don't have that problem on EVs that are well designed. You just got a battery pack and you're just cooling just that battery pack. So the other thing is, this thing doesn't know when you're going to unplug it. Same with your laptop. And believe it or not, it's never good to charge all the way up to 100% because the chemistry gets weird. The battery doesn't like to be charged all the way up that far. And also, if you're waiting at a charger on a long distance trip, you're going to have to wait forever because it scales as that charging back as it approaches the top, so the battery doesn't blow up when it hits 100%. It's got to throttle it back and just start to almost trickle charge it for that last 10% or so. So it takes forever. It's just not even worth waiting for charging. But the thing is, with your phone, what do people do? They go and they plug it in, and they go to bed, and they wake up and it's charged, and it could have been stuck at 100% for hours. I know other people who will remain nameless who keep their laptops plugged in all the time. Right now, my laptop is running off of just the battery, not plugged in all the time. And you don't want to keep any of these batteries plugged in all the time. It's like you don't want to have your electric vehicle plugged in all the time and just be sitting at 100% constantly charging. And most electric vehicles won't even let you do that to the battery pack. They'll get to a certain preset point and they will shut themselves off. And as a rule of thumb, you really want to stay out of the top 20% of your battery charge and out of the bottom 20% of the battery charge. Any of those extremes are going to affect the life and the performance of that electric vehicle battery. So, for instance, when you're charging at home, let's say you're charging your EV at home. I don't even do that, but on Teslas they'll have a set point, and it would be awesome to have that on your phone, wouldn't it? Where you could just set it to like 80%. I think that's usually what Tesla recommends. Set it at 80% so that when you plug it in and walk away, you're doing stuff you're not even thinking about what your car is doing. When it gets to 80%, it'll just shut off, and that's ideal. But of course, that's not even available on your mobile phone. I don't know why, because it would significantly impact the life of your battery. It would prevent you killing your battery, basically. Because, like I said, an enemy of your battery is charging to 100% or fully draining it. Those are severe enemies. Those will kill your battery. You do that, you fully drain your battery a couple times actually, and it could have a significant life on it, impact on the life, negative impact. If you go to 100%, it's not as bad, but it's still bad. But going down to zero, you could brick that battery and it'll never charge again. So, you'd think that, and it is true. I'd say that if you think about it, knowing what I just said, if you understand what I just said, you want to avoid the extremes. Well, that would place a lot of incentive on the manufacturers of these units, of these batteries, and also the people that manufacture the devices, to put limits on the upper level and the lower level without even telling you. Okay, so almost like it's not using the full capacity of the battery. So even if it tells you it has a certain amount of milliamps of capacity for your phone, certain number of kilowatt hours on your car, when Tesla doesn't even say that anymore. Mine's 90 kilowatts approximately. Actually, it's less than that. But and then by the way, the 100 kilowatt pack, the only one available now in my car, is actually more. It's like 103, 104, I think. But that's ultimate capacity. And just like if you had 3600 milliamp capacity on your phone, if these manufacturers are smart, and they do, and I don't think they say this in any of their literature, they will probably only allow, like, say on a 3600 milliamp battery, maybe they only let you use 3300 milliamps, because they'll take the top 150 and they'll just software block it off, and they'll take the bottom 150 and software block that off. And it also could be, depending upon your device and your manufacturer, that when your phone shuts off because it says it's out of battery, it may actually not be out of battery. Okay, it may be doing that to protect itself. But the idea is the same. You just don't want to get that low ever, really, if you can avoid it. And you definitely don't want to do that on a regular basis. Just like you don't want to charge your phone. I'm sorry, let's just say batteries. You don't want to charge your batteries to 100% on a regular basis either. You just don't want to do that. So like I said, going back to the people that keep their laptops plugged in all the time, the problem with that is you're going to destroy the chemistry on the inside of your battery. And then when you finally do go to unplug it and take it somewhere, your battery is going to be so compromised. You're going to have such little capacity in there that you're going to have to keep it plugged in all the time. So you got to use it for what it's designed to be used for. And anything with a battery pack, battery cells, is designed to be cycled between 20 and 80% on a regular basis. And another thing that's actually bad for it is to charge it way up and then let it sit for a while, especially if it's at 100%. Let's say you had to do 100%. All right. The last thing you want to do is charge it to 100% and have the thing shut off. That is the worst thing you could do to kill your battery. And now me, I do a lot of long distance driving with my Tesla. And just having the Tesla has gotten me more aware and more conscious of how I treat the battery pack in my laptop, how I treat the battery pack in my mobile phone. Everyone's life is just about charging batteries these days, it seems. Pretty soon it'll be done by itself, I think. But let's say you got to go up to, like, I go in, like, say 98% on a trip. I'm taking a trip, right? I charge that thing up to 98%. And the thing is, it's okay to do that if you get in the car or your device and you use that extra above 80% amount right away. Okay, that will have the minimal effect on your battery. It will most likely not kill it over time if you just bump it up, like I said, like the 98%, and then get in and drive it off, like on a long trip. And that's what I do. And if you don't own an EV car, or if you've never taken trips on an EV car long distance, I can also tell you, you don't ever want to have to charge up to 100% unless you absolutely have to, because as I pointed out earlier in the video, it takes forever. They have to taper back the charge on these batteries. And I'm more aware now of how laptops charge and how mobile phones charge. Truly, you want to let it drop down to get the most efficient charging and to keep your vehicle, your battery, whatever, plugged in. Okay, Tesla Babies is back here again. Mobile connection or adaptation over temperature limit. Mobile connection. So this is when Tesla Babies. This is when you are charging your car on a 240 volt plug all the time, or just sometimes. Is that all the time or sometimes? Let me know. Okay, let me get back to what I was saying. So when you're on a long distance trip, you recognize, especially if you're towing, like I've done towing videos with my EVs, and yeah, you can tow with EVs, no problem. It's just that just like a gasoline or ICE car, diesel truck, you're going to burn through about twice the amount of fuel for the same distance, give or take, depending upon your driving habits. So you got to stop a lot more often. You got to fill up. Now, when you're filling up your car with gasoline or diesel, you're always filling at a constant rate, right? But like I was saying, when you're charging, you're not. There's like a bell curve in there. It actually starts at a very slow rate if you almost brick the battery, and then it jumps up to like the maximum rate, and then you're at the maximum rate for probably like half the battery pack, and then all of a sudden it starts to taper off, taper off, taper off, and before long you're at a ridiculously slow rate. Okay, Tesla Babies is back. Tesla Baby says all the time that's happening. Well, I would contact Tesla. I would maybe take those adapters. If it's is it a Tesla adapter you have, take it into the service center. You're gonna have to find out. Yeah, you probably do need to get another mobile adapter. I mean, if you don't mind spending the money, you can get another mobile adapter. Try it out. If it works, great. If not, it could be something internal with your car. Because I will tell you that as cars get older, that are EV, you run the problems with the battery pack. Eventually, it has to be replaced. You run the problems with the charging units on these cars that are in between where you plug it in and the battery pack. And sometimes they only let you supercharge actually when they start to fail. So that could be what's happening with you. Something could be going wrong with your charging unit, and I would have it checked out by Tesla. Because how old is your Tesla? How many miles? How many years? Because if it's getting older, it could be that. And like I said, a lot of times people with these older Teslas, they find they can only supercharge. They cannot charge on a 240 or a 120. Now, if you don't have supercharging abilities like a Nissan Leaf or something like that, then don't worry about it. But the problem with having a vehicle that can't supercharge, it's like having a mobile phone that can't fast charge. Okay, your mobile phone can charge in like an hour, right? The whole thing, 0 to 100, probably in like an hour's time or less, right? Well, your car should be able to do that too, because it's the same technology. They just string these batteries in parallel or however they do it, and they put a cooling and heating system on it. So you would expect, unless, like I said, they don't put a cooling and heating system like this. These are all cheap. All these mobile phones, they don't have heating and cooling systems, so I would really love to have one. 2019 car, 7,200 miles. Which model do you have? Do you have Model 3, S, X? Which one do you have? It could be a defect from the factory that you've got there. Tesla Babies, that's the person I'm talking to who's texting me or typing questions in. So anyway, if you want to kill your battery, if you want to kill your EV battery, you want to treat it like you treat your mobile phone probably, right? Which is you let the thing drain down to zero and shut off from time to time, because I know a lot of people do. It's happened to me too. And then you plug it in and charge it up to 100%. That is going to kill your battery. And like anybody who knows me knows that I've reported before, I cannot get like more than a year out of my battery. But this time, I'm a heavy user too. That's the other thing. I'm a heavy user. Typically, the battery capacities have not been enough based on the efficiency of the processors, because since I use the processors at their maximum, the batteries can't keep up. But the newer generations of phones can, like this Galaxy S10, it can, and I'm treating it better, and I hope that it will last a lot longer. You got a Model 3? Yeah, so you've got the new design cells. I would just have Tesla check it out, especially if it's a 2019. No need to buy another one. Whatever you've got going on is probably covered under warranty, unless there's some kind of problem with where you're plugging it in. Are you always plugging it in at on the same outlet, the same building, or are you going to different places and it's happening the same thing in different places? Let me know about that, because if it's always the same place you're plugging it in, same building, I would go somewhere else and give that a try before you take it to Tesla. Because actually, I was just texting my brother earlier. He got a Model 3 not too long ago, and he had to go into Tesla for a bent rim, which has nothing to do specifically with Tesla unless you need a source of rim from them, which he does. And the service can be challenging. Tesla is very, very challenged right now in terms of keeping up with all the cars they're putting on the road. They're just cranking them out so fast. Okay, Garrison, is there anything I need to know about 2020 for Tesla and the autopilot fine tuning? Do you have a Tesla, Garrison? Uh, do you have a Tesla right now, or are you looking to buy one? And what if you have one? Do you have full self driving? Do you have enhanced autopilot? Which model do you have? Tesla Baby, just at my house. Yeah, you got to go somewhere else. I would go and try out another outlet somewhere. Even if you just got to go to an EV charging station, get the ChargePoint app. Use the ChargePoint app to find a charging station near you. Maybe just do that. Garrison, you said no, so you don't have a Tesla yet? Okay, well, one thing you guys should know about Tesla's autopilot is that according to Elon Musk, it's going to be feature complete by the end of the year. And we're in 2019, so by the end of 2019, feature complete. That just means there's a list of things that it's going to do that it hasn't quite yet accomplished through software, through the updates, but it's gonna. There's just two more things right now that they need to do that they have promised they would get done that are not on there, and that is stopping at red lights and traffic lights and stop signs, I think, and also urban or secondary road driving. Okay, because right now, if you have a Tesla or not, doesn't matter. I'm just letting you guys know. Right now, you're not supposed to use it on secondary roads, although I use it on secondary roads all the time. Okay, and I have been for years. And that's what you can check out my YouTube channel, Digital Nomad, adigitalnomad.net. I got all kinds of test videos on there. You can see how it's changed over the years. In some ways good, some ways bad. It depends. But I'd say that's for 2020. Any Tesla you buy, whether it's new or used, as long as it has capability of autopilot 2 or greater, and you have purchased the enhanced autopilot, full self-driving, whatever they call it, you'll be able to have all the features starting in 2020. Yeah, you're welcome, Tesla babies. Yeah, let me know if the same thing happens at another location. I'd be interested to find out. So anyway, we got sidetracked on that. So yeah, so for, let's see, autopilot, fine-tuning, yeah. I mean, so you'll have all the features starting in 2020 in just a few months. And yeah, fine-tuning, it's just going to get better and better over time. I think the jury's still out on whether Tesla's going to be able to actually have these vehicles out there with autopilot 2 or greater actually do full level 5 self-driving, but who knows? I've already paid for all the stuff. I use it for what it does. It helps me a tremendous amount because I'm on the highway, on the interstate limited access stuff all the time, and it's near perfect on limited access highways. In fact, it's excuse me, it saved me from a number of likely collisions on interstate highways. So I would highly recommend it. Even if the promise doesn't come true, and I still think that they're going to get level 5 out of this. And if you guys aren't familiar, the reason why people are saying that, I mean, not only computing power, which they're upgrading the cars, I'm going to get a new computer, needs more computing power, has cameras that overlap, but they're all visual cameras. There's only a front radar, and there's no LiDAR on the car. And that's why some people are saying, oh, you don't have LiDAR, you can't do it. But Elon Musk has also said LiDAR is a fool's game or something like that, a fool's something. If anyone remember what he said, let me know. So, and he may be right, because if computing power catches up enough, the visual cameras should work. The only Achilles heel on visual cameras is the fact that they get covered up. You can cover it with your hand, piece of tape, mud, fog, and I've experienced fog recently, and it just shuts off. The system shuts off in fog. So I don't know about that. I mean, what would happen if the car's level 5, all of a sudden it encounters fog? What does it do? Does it pull off the road and just park there until it goes away? I don't know. I'd be curious as to what happens. So okay, back to killing your battery. Now, if you read the warranties on these batteries from manufacturers, I know Tesla has different warranties on the battery packs depending upon which one you buy. You got to read the fine print. I'd say that one of the things I noticed on the Tesla warranty, which applies to all Tesla models, is that you can't do anything that really sabotages the battery and causes it to brick. Like some of the things I'm telling you, like draining it to zero. And I've had a lot of videos where I drove it on zero and it still drove. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's actually zero. I think Tesla has software engineered in a buffer on the top and the bottom. And actually, some people have said that's even greater nowadays. I think they've recognized that they're maybe hitting a little bit more, too many warranty claims on this, and they're making that buffer even more, which means to you as a driver, reduced range. You see it on the numbers. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with that. I think that they also announced something where they're going to increase the range a little bit by an update somehow, by operating things more efficiently, and also increase the power. That remains to be seen. It's a small amount, but all Teslas they have huge ranges. They have copious amounts of power. There are no slow Teslas, so nobody really needs any of that stuff. But it's nice to have. So the warranties, like the warranty on Model S and Model X, I got a Model X, and it's 8 years unlimited mileage. So when March rolls around, that'll be 3 years for me. I'll have 5 more years on the battery, and I've already got like 15,000 miles on the battery pack and I've supercharged all the time. When I first got the battery pack, even people at Tesla were telling me, everybody was like, you supercharge all the time? Well, I don't have a home charger, so I have supercharged. I'm thinking, let me open up my app and find out. Last time I checked, it was like 1,100 times. And it's more than you would think because I do car camping and other things. Wait, that's not it. PlugShare. Yeah, the PlugShare app is a cool app. Actually, that is it. So go to my profile on the PlugShare app. 1,203 check-ins, and I'd say that I checked in a few times to these level 2 chargers and other slower stuff. I didn't check in when I charged at somebody's house, although I did top off a few times when I had to because I'd run out of electricity. That was a handful of times at best. But I got over 1,200 check-ins, so I probably got about 1,200 superchargers on this battery pack. And the thing is, if you want to kill, like I said, people used to say, oh, you're going to kill your battery pack if you're supercharging all the time. But, mine's still going. I don't see anything wrong with it. I've lost some range on it. I think I've lost like 6 or 7% on there, which it's supposed to be, that's somewhat normal. It's supposed to stay relatively level until it finally just shits the bed or drops off the cliff or whatever you want to call it and dies. So hopefully that'll be the case because I'm towing now. I need all that range I can get. But supercharging, here's the thing. Any kind of rapid charging on a battery pack, whether it's your phone, laptop, EV, is going to potentially reduce the lifespan. All right. Now, you and I both know that there is no way to turn off rapid charging on your phone. There's no way to turn off rapid charging on your laptop. You're not rapid charging on your EV unless you're plugged into some high supercharger or something like that. That's really, putting in the electricity. When I say electricity, I was saying like kilowatts. Is the designation they use to tell you how much electricity is going into your vehicle, how many kilowatts of electricity. So typically, when I go to a supercharger, if it's in that bell curve, in the sweet spot, in the beginning, like between like 10% battery charge and 60%, somewhere in there, I'm getting maybe 90 to 94 kilowatts of energy going in at a time. Now, some of the newer cars, like somebody who's a Tesla baby is a Model 3, I think they can do up to like 150, and they have a different cooling system, different battery shape, a different cylinder, slightly different chemistry. They've got a lot of different modifications. You can fine tune these things, and over time, these battery packs in the EVs will be able to accept higher and higher kilowatt hour ratings. Now, like I said, Model 3 I think is like 150 right now, and it may go to higher than that. But the problem is, once you get to a certain range of kilowatts, I think it's like 200, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, then no matter what, considering the technology now and into the future, you will start to do significant damage to your battery by doing that. Now, I know like Porsche Taycan has said that they have a faster charging battery than Tesla, even though they have no charging network to support it. They have a faster ultimate charge that they'll let it do. And Tesla could always redo the software and let you charge at a higher rate too. But they're not going to do that because of warranty claims. And Elon Musk has even said, yeah, Porsche says they can do this, but you do that enough times, not even enough times, just a few too many, and you're going to kill off your battery pack in a short period of time. Because if you're charging it like over 200 kilowatts at the peak rate, I'm only doing 90, 94 on mine. You can tell there's going to be a big difference in the impact on that battery pack. So for charging, just so you guys know, I used to have a higher rate of charge too. So the manufacturers will protect these batteries on rapid charging on your cars at least. I don't know if this comes into play on your mobile phone. I don't know if it comes into play on your laptop. If you guys know, let me know. But my battery is limited now between 90. Actually, they say the limit's 90, but I see on my screen I sometimes creep up to 94 when I'm in the sweet spot. But I used to get up to like 115, I think, 120 kilowatts. Right? I used to. But that was the way Tesla works it. They know, they've done the math, they know the actuary tables, whatever. They know where the stuff starts to drop off. So after a certain number of supercharges, I don't know how many that was, it was definitely within the first year. Definitely. I could no longer get up to 115 kilowatts, 120 or whatever it was. I couldn't. And all of a sudden I'm down to 90. And that's what it is. They once you get to a certain number of rapid charges like that, the high end rapid charges, they drop you and they limit that battery pack for the rest of its life to 90 kilowatts. So that's where I am. I'm limited for the rest of its life to 90 kilowatts, which is not bad because when you think about it, it's only affecting it during that in that sweet spot. Like I said, it's not affecting it on the very low end, which you never want to go to, or the top. I'd say 2/3 of the battery pack, which you don't want to sit at a rapid charger if you're only going to charge in that top 2/3. It's just not worth it. I mean, yeah, it's if you really need to hurry, it's great. If you're on a long distance trip and you have to, if you're towing like me, you have to. But it's miserable. It's just like it's agonizing, just sitting there waiting for those slow charges. Because when I say, I'm telling you, it's doing 90 kilowatts when I'm in the sweet spot. When it starts to taper off, I'm seeing it drop to 72, which is actually the high end of the Tesla urban chargers, which are different than the superchargers. They're smaller units for city settings. They will never even go above 72. So actually, I don't mind going to urban chargers anymore because I'm only getting 90 maximum anyway, right? I mean, 72 is all right. But once you start to drop below 72, I think you're starting to charge at a rate of 200 miles per hour or less. To me, that's the threshold, about 200 miles per hour of charge. So that means that for every hour you're plugged in, you're going to get another 200 miles of range. But once you drop below that, you start to go 180, 160, 150, and you're going into like 60 kilowatts, 50 kilowatts, 40, 30, and it's just slowing down so much. And you can see it. I mean, if you're over there eating dinner or you got to go number 2 in the bathroom or something, I guess you don't mind waiting. But I would never want to sit there waiting unless I had to. That's why I really wish now that I'm towing, I had a bigger battery pack. So that's something to keep in mind. The bigger the battery pack, the better if you're towing or if you're doing regular long distance travel. If you're not doing any of those things, it doesn't matter. Unless you are going to have range anxiety because you can't make it to your local destination. And if you can't make it to your local destination, at this point in time, 2019, with Model 3s, at under $40,000 brand new, I would rethink any electric vehicle because these electric vehicles, the way that they're so good now, they're just as good, if not better. Actually, they're way better in terms of crash protection than any ICE vehicle. Any Tesla is way better than any ICE vehicle. I'm not talking about Nissan Leafs. I don't know about their crash. I don't know about Chevy Bolts. I don't know. Probably not. They're not well-designed electric vehicles is the problem. You can get a well-designed electric vehicle brand new for under $40,000, where the cost of operating is significantly lower than an ICE vehicle. Significantly. Even if you're just plugging it at home, it's amazingly low. And if you're not driving that much, you're not going to see much of a return. But if you are driving, I think you will. And if you buy a well-designed car like a Tesla, and they actually get to level 5 like they say they're going to get to, then that thing is going to be worth a lot of money, way more than you think when it's time to sell, if you want to sell it. Because like Elon Musk said, anybody who is, I mean, you can sell if you want, but anybody who's leasing a Model 3, they do offer that, will not be allowed to buy them at the end of the lease because they will be going into Tesla's robotaxi fleet. That's what they said. But, that remains to be seen. So let me think. Are there any other things that you can do to kill your battery? Rapid charging a lot, like I said, but rapid charging, like I said, I think rapid charging when you're limited 90 kilowatt or lower rapid charging like I'm doing, I don't think it's really going to have a significant effect. I don't think that's going to kill my battery. And there's nothing that Tesla says there's anything wrong with that. And that's why they limit it. They lower it down so that it's at an okay level so that they're all good with it. But, charging it all the way up, and you can adjust that. I know Elon Musk has come out and said that, you don't have to stick at 80% anymore. I'm not sure why he said that. I really don't know why. But, it's interesting because maybe, I don't know, you don't need to get to 100%. The average person just doesn't need it. And with a Tesla, you're going to be able to charge at a supercharger local to you. There's superchargers all over the place now. So I would say still, don't go above 80% if you don't need to. Just don't. And if you're going to let your car sit, definitely don't let it sit for a period of time at any charge level above 80%. Run it down until it gets to 80% and then let it sit there. There's enough rapid chargers, superchargers all over the place now that you shouldn't have to worry about keeping your battery topped off. And don't top it off. I mean, like I said, there's disadvantages on a gasoline or ICE car, diesel. There's not only no disadvantage to topping your gas tank off, and actually some advantages because sometimes you get water at the bottom, right? But if you park in the sun, though, it could explode your gas tank. You don't want to do that or make it bulge out and destroy it. So even on ICE cars, I guess you don't want to. But the thing is, if you're driving an ICE car and you've never had an EV, you need to know this. Just like your mobile phone, just like your laptop, even if you don't use your device, you're going to drain out electricity every day. You're going to lose electrons. It just kind of goes away. It's called phantom drain. And not only does that happen to any battery, any rechargeable battery sitting around, but it happens on a Tesla because there's always software and things running in the background, managing that battery pack, managing the car, trying to connect it, doing software downloads, finding out where your car is. You can turn the climate control on and off from your app on your phone. It's always communicating, so it's gotta do that stuff. So phantom drain. So that's another way to kill your battery. If your battery is low, you don't ever want to. I would never park a car not plugged in at a charge at any level below 20%. Not only because you're going to get below your 20% or lower, but because that phantom drain is going to kick in. It seems like phantom drain seems to accelerate as you get closer to the bottom of the battery pack because there's less and less electrons in there, and you're just pulling them out further and further. So, and if it's cold too. Oh my gosh, if it's cold, the efficiency of electric cars drops. That phantom drain kicks up. You get even more phantom drain when it's cold. So you have the possibility of bricking your battery without even you being in the car. That's bad. Really bad. So that's about it. I mean, I know it sounds complicated, and if you've never owned an electric vehicle or driven one, it is complicated. You need to know these things really if you're going to keep your car for any length of time. I mean, I guess technically I don't if I've got this long 8-year warranty. Oh, I forgot to mention, Model 3 doesn't have an 8-year warranty. Model 3 has, I can't remember what it is, like 3 years or 50,000 miles or something like that. I don't even know what it is. Or actually, no, that's on the car. But I think the battery warranty is limited to like 150,000 unless they've changed it. 150,000 miles. And I think they say it'll have at least 75% of its at least original rated capacity, which is easy to do. Because like I said, mine's only lost like, 5% or something like that over 110,000 miles. So you're not gonna drop that low unless there's some major problem with your battery. So that's basically it. Make sure you have, going forward, I'd say, buy a large capacity battery pack in your car. It's worth the money, especially if you do a lot of driving. Make sure you got heating and cooling. Any Tesla has that. And if you got any other questions, leave them below and tag any people that need to know about this kind of stuff. And hopefully this video is informative for you. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.